Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Karis. Welcome to Fix Your Shitty Movement Monday. We're getting into the deadlift. Shit's getting serious. We are going to start with your lats. And the question in the title is it okay to round your back during the deadlift? And the answer is kind of. And I'm going to address the main reason why people's backs round. And when I say people's, I mean people who are pretty new to lifting or aren't lifting really that much weight, because you'll find a lot of elite lifters who, have like a shrimp back or something, but they're deadlifting like 800 pounds and they're doing all right. Because remember, the spine is a series of joints, right? So there's going to be some pliability, and flexion, especially with a certain amount of weight, is kind of inevitable, especially for people with a longer lever, like a longer torso. That being said, I don't like telling people that it's okay, because people who are just like learning and stuff are not able to then troubleshoot a huge issue in people's deadlifts, and that is the use of your lats. Now, your lats are these big fan-shaped muscles right here, right? And they do adduction, extension, and external rotation, among other things. They are huge, so they participate in a lot of different functions. Those are their main roles within the body. Now, the thing about the lats is that they're kind of an unofficial part of your core. So what that means is that they assist in stabilizing your trunk, mostly from a shoulder girdle point of view. But if you think about it, most of the rounding tends to occur right up there, right? So the other interesting thing about the lats is that when you engage your lats, will engage your obliques, right? So you can even feel how it'll kick on that anti-rotation element of the obliques that is really neglected. We tend to just think about the obliques as rotating. Anti-rotation is a big role that they play that's often overlooked. So when we're looking at the deadlift, we're going to look at both the conventional and the sumo. I'm traditionally a sumo deadlifter, but I have been cheating on it with conventional. I used to not like conventional because it hurt my QL. QL, are quadratus lumborum, are these muscles along your spine here. They are they're neighbors with the lats. So there's a reason why they get fired up when your lats aren't doing their fucking job. Then I learned how to use my lats, and I stopped being such a pussy, and now I can fucking conventional deadlift, and I like it. So let's talk conventional first. When you're setting up for the conventional deadlift, the bar is over the balls of the big toes-ish, right? So there's a little distance between you and the bar. And when I come down for the bar, I'm going to hinge my hips back and grab the bar. So from there, I pull the bar to me, into my shins, sit my weight back, stand up and squeeze my butt. So if you see that from another vantage point, I want you to watch how when I come down for the bar, my shoulders are over the bar, right? And then when I sit back, they're behind the bar. And I have this nice clear path to stand up with the weight. So the issue comes from people not pulling the bar into themselves correctly. So they'll either do this, my personal favorite, because it looks so fucking stupid, like, please don't pick up weight like that. Or the other most common one, which is what we're going to touch on next week, spoiler alert, is actually just like shifting your knees forward, right, and turning it into a squat. Those are really the two most common things that I see. The other thing is people will literally drag it to them like this. So like all in their traps, right? And sometimes even with like a bend in the elbow and the wrists. So think about the lats this way. If I told you to pull on my arm as hard as you could, kind of like pull my finger, only you could like destroy my body, right? So you pulled it as hard as you could. If I wasn't prepared, you could dislocate my shoulder. Now, if I did that and my lat was packed, really packed, you would pull my entire body with it, right? And I use that as an example in classes all the time. Like, I'll lie down and someone will pull as hard as they can and my whole body will lift up. I'm 160 pounds, guys. I'm no dainty lady. So the fact that my lat can do that just like passively like that it's incredible the amount of weight that your lats can hold. And that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about lat pull downs and shit. We're talking about the isometric stabilizing element of your lats, because that's where they come into play in your deadlift. So if we look at the conventional again, stand with my toes under the bar, and this time I'm gonna come down already with my lats engaged. And I do that because it's hard to try to find them down here if they're already like not in place. So I always will engage my lats first, hinge down for the bar, grab the bar, these FedEx motherfuckers, and then pull the bar into me like so. So I use my lats to do that, but then you see how my body is still shifted forward there? Now I sit back. And again, that's what we're gonna talk about next week. I sit back and I'm basically trying to increase the tension on my heels and my fingertips so that the bar actually starts to suspend, and then all I have to do is stand up. Okay? So the best way really to think about your lats in the deadlift is as rods with hooks on them, right? So you're not lifting the bar with your hands or your arms, you're lifting it with your lats. And so if you do find that you get shoulder pain or elbow pain or even wrist pain, or that your grip sucks, more than likely it has more to do with your lat than almost anything else. So, you know, jerk off or do the grippy things or something, but unless you're really trying to find the source of where you can't hang on to the bar, that's probably it, because your hands ain't shit compared to it, especially if you have dainty lady hands like myself. Okay, so then the other function of the lats is depression, right, which is the same thing as like extension like this. So I see this problem more commonly in the sumo deadlift, where when you come and set up for the sumo, your shins will be right up against the bar, okay? So conventional, there's a little distance between you and the bar. Sumo, you're right up on that shit. And then again, I'm gonna come down with my lats engaged. Now to do that, right, because you're trying to keep your shins stacked, as you should, you have to bring your chest forward, right, in order to come down to the bar without hitting the bar with your shins. So when people get to that position and I tell them to pull their chest behind the bar, this is what they do. Oh my God, your poor QL. Right there, right? That's not your lats, because actually what you're doing is you're just extending your spine, pulling your ribs out, right? And you're actually shortening this, right? You're not engaging your lats when you do that. In fact, you're retracting, which is not what your lats do, right? Everybody seems to be under the impression that lats retract. No, that's not their job. At least not in the deadlift. So when you're coming down here, right, the other thing that people will do is they'll crane the shit out of their neck. And I already feel that right there. Your spine starts here, guys. So if you're doing that with your neck, chances are it's gonna affect your entire spine. And I'm still not moving my shoulders behind the bar. They're still forward of the bar. Also putting a ton of pressure on your neck, which is not a good thing. But see how, so if I'm here with my lats engaged, if I crane my neck, do you see how it'll actually pull my shoulders into retraction and elevation? That's not your lats, right? So that's another thing. If you're deadlifting or just period, you have like tension in your neck and stuff, and you're like, damn, you know, I must have slept funny or something. Look no further than the way that you crank on your neck for shit that's not its job. So give it a fucking break, and remember that your spine, in being a series of joints, you need to rely on the muscles in your torso, particularly, to stabilize your fucking spine. It's not your spine's job to stabilize. It's the muscles around it to stabilize, which is something we'll get into a whole other time. So this brings me to my buddy here that I've just been trying to pretend he's not there. So whenever I start working with someone, we always start with a kettlebell. Probably 20% of the people I train like it. The others like fucking hate it, and they don't understand why we're doing it, because it's not as fun as the barbell. Why? Because you can't fuck up with a kettlebell as much, and if your form is off, you'll know right away. So it's not fun to play with it. The barbell, you can fuck around and have hideous form and actually get pretty far before you plateau or hurt yourself. So, you know, people just like to get in and, you know, do the stuff that's fun. And I get that, except I've been injured a whole lot in my life, and I've learned the hard way, you have to do things the right way, even though it's not fun. that's my spiel for the kettlebell. We'll talk about it another time. Well, we're going to talk about some more right now. So when I teach people to swing, remember that the swing is a deadlift. That's exactly what it is. So your deadlift, particularly conventional deadlift, is only going to be as good as your swing. My barbell's running away, guys. So when I teach people how to swing, the first thing we do is we practice dragging the bar to us, or excuse me, the bell to you. So this is literally called a drag. I know. That's what my clients think too. But see how I'm in this nice figure 4 position? That's the same position as the bottom of, actually both deadlifts, but most similarly to the conventional deadlift, right? So when people fuck up their swing, I mean, they do it in so many ways. One of the most common ways, I'm not going to do it with a weight this big, is doing this. And what did I just say people do in their conventional deadlift? And you know, once they get it going, it's fine. But in a powerlifting meet, you get 1 rep. So if that first rep is shit and you're not in the perfect alignment, I don't want to say perfect, but proper alignment, good luck. You're at best not going to pick it up, at worst going to fuck yourself up. And you see how that, right, is a rounded spine. So once they learn that, they then go into the hike, which is also this movement from your lats. The rest of your body literally stays still. But you'll notice my chest kind of lifts up first, right? That's exactly what happens in your deadlift too. So I cue people to lift the chest first and then get their hips under the bar. Okay, so a couple things. I'll talk about the swings and stuff later. If you guys have questions, though, ask me, because I can talk about kettlebells forever and no one ever wants to. So, you know, let's talk about kettlebells. Russian only, though. I don't want to see any of that bullshit American swing. Sorry, it's true. Okay, so some things that you can do to try to maximize your lats in your deadlift. So let's talk conventional first. First of all, you want to make sure that your hands are in the right position for you. So a lot of the times, especially with sumo, people start with their hands here. And you can see how rounded I am at the top. Like, you can't pack your lats in that position because you're like really flexed in your shoulders and your spine. So you have to be able to have the bar in a position where you can fit your hips and your chest through. So, same with conventional. Don't go too far, because then it's going to create a whole other problem. But you want to come down. I usually just set my hands with my lats engaged already, come down for the bar with my hands right under my shoulders. Makes it nice and easy. And then from there, I just think about turning my elbow pits forward, just like that. So I'm putting tension in my thumbs and I'm rotating my pinkies down into the bar. Also, fun fact, your tricep and lats are buddies. So if you flex your tricep as hard as you can, look how that immediately depressed my scapula, right? And fired up my lat. And if I flex my lat, my oblique comes to party. They all work together. So you want to really think about keeping a little more pressure in the pinky side of your hand to help to, and that's where your tricep is innervated, right? To help you access your lats a little bit better. Try it in your bench press as well. You know, just try it in everything, because I bet you have pansy triceps like all the rest of us. So here, here, and then sitting back, right? Making sure not to crane your neck, because again, as soon as you crane your neck, you've already left alignment. And then, like I said, with sumo, same exact thing. The nicer thing about sumo is that if you have a lot of tightness in your upper back, this will actually help you, because you get to keep your back more upright. So you come down, right, same thing, hands in the right position, rotate those elbow pits forward, and then again, I'm just trying to lift my chest, pull my knees open, and see how that bar already suspends, lock it out, okay? So I didn't even have to do anything other than just like hook myself to the bar and then put tension on my fingertips more and more and more and more by hinging my hips back. Again, we're going to talk about the hinge next week. And bada bing, bada boom. I don't want to brag, but I do. I got an amazing deadlift and I worked really fucking hard for it. I'm trying to get 405 maybe this year. We'll see how my neck says. Oh, this is the first time you guys have seen me in shoes. Vivo barefoot, the only shoes I train in, only because I'm outside. Doing a foot video later this week because so many ask me. My name's Cars. Fix your shitty movement. I'll see you later.